According to Epstein, Trump knew of his crime and spent hours alone with the victim. Apparently, the emails were released or leaked that make Trump look bad. I don't know exactly why. Let's look at it.
We are back with more of the breaking news this hour. Newly released emails from the Epstein estate show the convicted sex offender making multiple references to President Trump. In one, it's a 2011 email to accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. Epstein.
Why is it that this is being released now? Like, I thought they were going to release the Epstein files. I mean, at this point, like, so, and this is what I think is very odd, is that they're going to release the Epstein files. They're going to release the Epstein files. They're going to release the Epstein files. There aren't any Epstein files. They're gone. Here are the Epstein files. Are they lying or is this fake? Either way, I want these fucks out of the government. I do. It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad to have to deal with this shit.
Writes that Trump, quote, spent hours at his house with a sex trafficking victim. Now, Epstein.
That doesn't mean that he knew that the person was a victim at all. Like, just because you interact with somebody that was a victim doesn't mean that you know the details of what happened to them. Like, okay, let's keep going.
Calls Trump in this email a, quote, dog that hasn't barked. These emails were released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. And the top Democrat on that committee, Robert Garcia, is joining us now. Congressman, when did you get this information?
We actually just received all of these emails, with a total of about 23,000 documents, actually a few days ago, so last week. And we've been going through, our team, of course, through all of these very carefully over the last few days.
So there were 23,000 emails that were never made public? Uh-huh.
We obviously released some today. We'll be releasing additional documents likely later today.
MSNBC? Well, again, I looked on Fox. There was no news about this. Let me check again. Did they do any news about this? Because I looked in the morning. So, yeah, we're watching MSNBC because that's the only thing that's the only people that are talking about it. I wonder why. I don't know. People that like Trump are going to say they didn't cover it because they know it's fake, and people that hate him are going to say they didn't cover it because they're on Trump's side. Like, I mean, really, everybody's already made up their mind on why they didn't cover it. So there's no reason even discussing it.
The thing here is that we know, and we've been demanding, that Donald Trump and the DOJ release the full Epstein files.
Yes.
In what's been released today,
100%.
which obviously is some quite serious, I think, connections between what Donald Trump made.
I'm glad this came out. I am. Even though I think that there's a high probability that it could be fake, misleading, or misunderstood, or misinterpreted, I think that it's still good because every point on the graph brings us closer to being able to draw a line. And I think also putting the pressure on him to make him look implicated puts more political pressure on him to release more files to show that he's not. Does that make sense?
We have known there's communication between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously making some claims about Donald Trump spending significant time, hours, with possibly one of the victims. There's also disturbing.
That's totally irrelevant to me. He could spend days with the victim and then the person never told him or never had anything to do with it, right? Because, like, some of the Epstein victims were above the age of 18, so it's not like there was some sort of implicit, just like definitional reason why this person shouldn't be there.
Emails there.
So
about
there's not
Trump,
enough there.
And Jeffrey Epstein, that people can read for themselves. I think what's important right now is that we want to know why Donald Trump spent the entire campaign saying that he would release the files.
He did not. He did not. He said multiple times that he would have to think about it. He was asked directly about it, and he said he's less certain about it. Now, he did. He ran on deportation multiple times. Well, if somebody wants to find me a compilation of all the times that he said it, then you can show it to me and I'll watch it myself. But from my understanding, Donald Trump said, oh, Bill Clinton is in the files. He said that, yeah, well, let's see here. Grok said, ask Grok, sure. When did Donald Trump commit to releasing the Epstein file during his 2024 campaign? Because my understanding of it is that the primary people that were committing to releasing the Epstein files were people that were on his cabinet, people like Kash Patel, Dan Boingo, and Pam Bondi. Like, those were the ones that were really committing to it. During an interview, declassifying, yeah, I would. He said, I'd go a long way with that one. It's a weird situation. So, yeah, this is the same one that I said before. He would have no problem. He reaffirmed this. He'd have no problem releasing it. The June interview garnered attention that aired an omitted version, that his full response that resurfaced as well. Okay, so he did reaffirm it one time with Lex Friedman, saying that he would have no problem releasing it. Okay, well, then there we go. He said less so? Yes, he did say less so. So he's given two answers to this. In one case, he did commit to it. In another case, he didn't. Either way, I don't feel like he really ran his entire campaign on it. I think that's a little bit disingenuous. I feel like this was probably like a number 10 or number 11 issue. But overall, I do think that, like, yes, obviously, people voted, and this is what matters, right? Is that even if he didn't say it, people voted for Trump thinking that he would do it. He appointed people committing that they would do it. And it didn't happen. That's what really matters. Whether he ran on his campaign about it or not is kind of irrelevant. Drain the swamp? Yes. He literally led them to believe it. Yes, I think that it's undeniable. Even if I don't really entirely agree with like his assessment of it. I do agree that he led people to believe that he would release the files. He absolutely did. That's undeniable.
And now that he's in the White House, there is a massive cover-up going on. The survivors deserve the truth.
They do.
You said there are 23,000 documents as part of this latest tranche of information that you received from the Epstein estate. Are you still getting more information coming in from the estate? And are there more emails than have...
Wait a minute. Why is it that why was this information not... Why did the government not have this? What other information does the estate have? Why is the government not going in and getting every single piece of information that this estate has right now? Like, it makes me so mad. They did? Where is it? Well, then why is it coming out now?
Already been released?
There are definitely more information from the Epstein estate. We expect these 23,000 documents. We want them all released, and so there'll be more coming out later.
Yeah, I think they should release everything completely unredacted besides victims' names and obviously photographs that could be problematic. Release everything else. Omit no one's name that is above the age of 18. The public deserves to know the truth. And again, these people, it could make somebody look bad. Too bad. You shouldn't have gone to an island with a pedophile. Should have thought of that. That's what I think.
We think more documents coming out later today, and there'll be more coming out in the future. And so our goal is to get every single document that we receive out into the public's hand. But it also takes an enormous amount of redaction. And so just redacting all of the names of the survivors and the victims takes time. And our promise to their family.
Oh, it took. So let me get this straight. Okay. Okay, maybe. But like, if you know who the victims are, you know who the survivors are, obviously you word filter search the name Trump, right? Can't you just do that for the victims and then just omit those two? That's such bogus. Yeah, Control F. You can't Control F. Like, what are we doing?
Has been to protect, of course, protect them as well. What's important right now is if you just read the emails that came out today, it's incredibly disturbing. And these possible links between Epstein and Trump and what Trump knew and who he spent time with and what happened at Mar-a-Lago, all of this is part, we know, of what's actually in the Epstein files. And so
I don't think there's hard evidence that commits Trump to doing anything weird with Epstein. If there was, I think they would have already released it. And if there is, I think that there is as much, if not more, hard evidence against Democrats doing it too. That's what I think probably happened. Like, my conspiracy theory with the Epstein files is that, because you've got to also remember, Epstein died when Trump was the president. He died in 2019. It's not like he died during Biden. Like, no, he died in 2019. So coping so hard? Well, I'm not coping. I'm just being logical. I don't care. Like, if Trump was in the Epstein files, I would want to know about it. It's not like I don't want to know about it. But the issue is that this is my conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory is that I think that both parties have a piece of the Epstein files. And because of that, they don't want to release it because I think there is a third party. My opinion is that the most likely candidates for that third party are Israel, China, Russia, in that order, that have the entire Epstein files. And if these files are released in a partial amount, they will then be released by this foreign third party in their entirety. And it would be effectively, like the Cold War term, mutually assured destruction. And I think that's the reason why Biden was president for 4 years. You forgot Israel? Oh, Mossad is Israel. Mossad is Israel's intelligence agency. And that's the reason why it didn't happen. Because like if it was so damning and so condemning on Trump and the Republicans, Biden, I think, would have released it. But he didn't. So I think that there's more to it than that. That's the only logical reason that can explain that to me. Oh, did I say Israel? Yeah, I don't know.
This moment, the Department of Justice needs to do the
Forgot
right.
British as well. Yeah, it could be British. You're right. I never even think of them, but you're right. Coincidence, these emails are coming out the day the government shutdown is ending. Sounds like a sad attempt at a distraction from the Democrats. They took a lot of heat for the shutdown ending. What do you think? I think that that's a really good analysis. I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Thing and release the files that are under subpoena by our committee. The information.
These mails are nothing new. They were already released in 2024. What is this? Democrats intentionally redacted the name of the victim in the Epstein emails they released. The unredacted version shows that it was Virginia Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre has testified multiple times that President Trump did nothing, and she never even saw him at Epstein's house. So it's bullshit? Wait, what? Okay, let me finish this, and then we're going to look at the post, okay?
That we're getting from the Epstein estate is only because Democrats fought to get that subpoena. And so we're not going to rest until we get the truth about the full files and what powerful men committed horrific acts against these women and, in some cases back then, children and girls.
Yes.
These emails that were revealed today.
Dude, I don't know about you guys, but this is the kind of stuff that makes me never want to deal with politics ever again in America. Am I the only one that feels that way? Where it's like, I see this being passed around, and this is like such a, in my opinion, like this is like a top of the pyramid pinnacle evil that's happening. And it's being weaponized, manipulated, hidden, misinterpreted, and just basically propagandized in every way possible. And it seems like everybody's doing this. It's not like there's one side that's good and one side that's bad. I think they're both bad. It's so exhausting. I hate this. I really do.
They do not explicitly implicate Donald Trump in any crimes. And I think it's important to note that his name is mentioned in these emails. And it does raise questions about what he knew of Jeffrey Epstein's actions. Congressman, we're just getting a first reaction now from the White House to the release of these emails. This statement coming from the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. I'm going to read it to you in full. The Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. The unnamed victim referenced in these emails is the late Virginia Giuffre, who repeatedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and couldn't have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female.
So she says who the victim is. They released the emails. The emails were released in 2024. Okay, all right, let me see what his response to this is. Because I feel like this is pretty damning.
employees, including Giuffre. These stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments and any American.
Because she was fearful for her fucking life, you morons. So she's lying, Trump's lying, everybody's lying. I don't know. I mean, like, if I just, yeah, come on.
And with common sense, sees right through this hoax and
I
clear.
mean, if you're going to call the victims liars, I mean, I don't know, guys.
Distraction from the government opening back up again. What's your response to that?
That's a good question.
My response is simple. Then release all the files.
I'm sorry. I think this is a completely underhanded tactic, and it's completely dishonest if I'm interpreting it the way it seems like it is. But I don't care because I agree with this conclusion. I do. I agree with the conclusion. I'm like, okay, yes, please bring this back up again and again and again. Yes, just please release the files, investigate this fully. Trump will never win back. I think that right now, Trump's handling of the Epstein files, and I'm speaking primarily from like an online perspective, because I know that like a lot of average voters care about like, I don't know, like being able to afford groceries. But if you're terminally online like I am, the Epstein files was the point where I think Trump lost the enthusiasm for his presidency with a lot of people on the internet. It was something that you just couldn't defend. It was a complete betrayal. And nothing short of that. It was a complete and absolute betrayal. And yeah, he's cooked. And I think like there was before that, like there was so much enthusiasm for Donald Trump before that. And then after that, when he's like, oh, I didn't have, well, what do you mean I had my hand in a cookie jar? Did you see my hand in a cookie jar? Well, where are the cookies? I ate them. Well, where'd I get them from? I don't know. No, but there's, no, my hand wasn't in the cookie jar. What do you mean? No, of course not. And he was so, fuck it. He sounded so suspicious saying this. I think Bondi is at fault mostly. No, she's not. Pam Bondi is accountable to Donald Trump, the president. If Pam Bondi fails, that means Trump put a failure in charge. It might be her fault, but it's his responsibility. He's the president. If she failed on something that was a core campaign promise, he should have kicked her ass out and brought in somebody new. That's it. It's not her fault. Whether it is or not. Like, whether it is or not, that's it. The buck stop at the president? Yeah. Like, I mean, again, I understand it might not be directly his fault, but it's still his responsibility. He's the fucking prime acting executive. Like, what do you mean? You said in the past you can tell if a guy's guilty just by looking at him. Is the guy on the right guilty for lying? I think that they know that this is a misrepresentation. It seems like it's a misrepresentation.
If the president has nothing to hide, if the press secretary right there in her comments and statement, if they have nothing to hide at the White House or the Department,
you can tell that he's lying by his eyebrows. Nobody has pointy eyebrows like that. That's not somehow a villain. Okay, you don't have pointy eyebrows like this. This is something like this is like some merchant or something like that that's going to sell you snake oil.
Justice, then all we want is for them to release the full files. It's very clear. You can't spend your entire campaign saying you're going to do something and make a commitment to the American people and then backtrack. And so we're...
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I disagree slightly with this assessment, but I don't care about that because there's a greater goal in mind. I agree fundamentally with what he's saying. He led people to believe that he was going to release the Epstein files, and he didn't do it. This is a prime betrayal.
We're going to ensure, one, we always are going to protect the victims and survivors. And if they want to clear the president's name, and more importantly, also all of the other men and powerful men that may have been involved, then release the files.
True, yeah. I mean, what about like Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew? Like, what about them?
today. That should be the response from the White House.
President Trump has said he wasn't a fan of Epstein's. He's called him a creep. He's
also friends with them. I mean, like, it's simple. They were friends for a long time. They had a falling out. I mean, why is this? Why is it that nobody even attempts to engage with the truth? Isn't that so frustrating? For me, it's so incredibly frustrating that you have so many people out here who always, they don't even attempt to engage with any degree of truth or reality.
The push for more information
it's so frustrating.
About Epstein, a Democratic hoax. What questions specifically do you have for the president about these emails?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, my questions to the president would be, first, what was your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? I mean, did you know what was happening? He was obviously running a huge sex trafficking ring. Why are there so many cases of these connections back to Mar-a-Lago? Jeffrey Epstein himself said that Donald Trump was one of his best friends. Why would he say that? And there's so many questions to ask. And the president could right now end all of the speculation and do the right thing for the survivors by releasing the files. The president himself has said that he has...
this is what's going to sound crazy. I think that releasing the files won't matter. Because unless it has the names in it that people think are in it, everybody is going to think the files are a lie. You said this already? I did. If they release the files and it doesn't say Donald Trump is a pedophile, and it doesn't say Bill Clinton is a pedophile, and it doesn't say Bill Gates is a pedophile, people will think that the files are edited and they are inauthentic. The public has already convinced itself of the reality of this.
Done nothing wrong, then release the files, because we know for a fact that there are many.
And again, I think the reason why that happened is because of Trump. Trump destroyed the public's trust in this issue, and he has effectively killed this issue. And he has killed the issue in the worst possible way.
Powerful men, some of the most powerful, wealthiest men in this country that have done and committed harm to children and to girls and women in this country.
Yeah.
And those women deserve justice. So it is time to end this White House cover-up and release the Epstein files today.
I don't understand. It's obviously not a White House cover-up. I mean, was Biden covering it up for 4 years? I mean, what are we talking about, a White House cover-up?
Today, Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva will be sworn into the House, where she will be the final vote needed on that discharge petition to compel the DOJ to release the full Epstein files. Do you think these new revelations could sway any other votes? Could there be a pile-on and overwhelming vote for releasing the documents?
There should be.
Look, we hope that all Republicans would really center the survivors and the victims at this moment. What's important right now is that there are women who've talked to us now as adults who have shared that they want the files released. They want justice. They want to know what happened and what men were involved, and who are, in many cases, afraid of the consequences of them being in the spotlight and telling their stories.
What's holding some of your colleagues back? What is holding Republicans back from voting to release all the files?
They're complicit in this cover-up. When Donald Trump, the president...
He's right. I mean, there's no reason not to release everything. There's no reason. I can't see a single reason.
The president says, I don't want to release the files, or he tried to... Remember earlier in this year, he actually even said they kind of discarded them as being even not important.
Yes, he
When
did.
they're not releasing these files,
It's accurate.
It brings questions to be asked. And so,
of course it does, especially after they talked about it so much. And Trump even named people like Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton as being potentially involved with Epstein. I mean, if anything, I feel like Trump is really kind of a piece of shit. It's like if you can't even find any evidence of Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, why are you going and dragging their name in the mud by saying this if you can't even prove it? That's crazy. Why say names? There's a reason. And you know it? No, the problem is that we can all sit around and theorize on a reason, but we don't really know what the reason is. That's the truth. Nobody really knows. And I think that's why nobody trusts him.
Again, our commitment has been, from day one has been clear. Release the Epstein files. The men that committed harm should be held accountable today.
You've also been demanding answers about Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell's transfer to that minimum security prison. That happened over the summer, and now we are learning of a whistleblower account saying that she's in the process of requesting President Trump commuting her sentence, that he commute her sentence, and that she's also
not going to commute her sentence. I mean, if Trump commutes her sentence, like if he commutes her sentence and she contributes to like the arrest of like 5 high-profile people with Epstein, then yeah, I would be okay with that. If you want me to be honest, I'd rather have 5 birds instead of 1 bird. But unless she does that, no, you're rotting in jail.
been waited on hand and foot at this camp, customized meals, after-hours time in a private exercise area.
Never? What do you mean never? What are you, retarded? If there's people out there, if there's 5 pedos that are out there that are these prolific molesters that were involved with Epstein, and she could contribute to getting them put in jail, you would want those 5 people to continue running free, probably doing the same thing that they were doing back then, still now, until they die, indefinitely, because of some moral thing that you would want to keep her in jail. You're just retarded. This is the problem with people that think in terms. It's emotional blackmail. Yeah, exactly. It's emotional blackmail. It's an obvious. The right decision to make in the circumstance is obvious. It might not be pretty. It's not pretty, but it's obvious.
Access to a service puppy.
It's not PrEP Act. Yes.
Have you gotten any information firsthand on her situation?
It's a trolley lover problem? Yeah,
Look, we have also received really disturbing information, and obviously there's been a lot of reporting about it. What's clear is that Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a facility where she has essentially all of this access to apparently people to talk to being able to roam around. It's a club-fed facility where she is now has much more freedom of movement and things that she never should have received, that she wasn't eligible to receive at the facility that she was at before. But this was all done because someone at the Department of Justice ordered it so. We've asked questions of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Why was a convicted sex trafficker?
Well, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, if I remember correctly, actually declined having her moved. Like there was some prison conglomeration that didn't want her moved, and they got overruled.
Someone that did monstrous things to women and girls, transferred to a facility after Trump's Department of Justice, and a deputy AG who was once Trump's personal lawyer. Why did they transfer her? Why won't they tell us why and answer questions? We want Ghislaine Maxwell to come before the Oversight Committee and answer these questions. Ghislaine Maxwell should never receive special treatment. She's done horrific things to women and girls. And again, if we want justice for these women and survivors, today is the day that Donald Trump can release all the Epstein files.
Congressman Robert Garcia.
Yeah, it does seem like this is an opportunistic thing that they're doing as a result of them looking bad for the government shutdown. I think that's what's happening. If it's correct that the information that's been released is just simply information that's been public, but it's now redacted in order to make Trump look bad.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Well, there it is. And I'll go back. I'll look at it here. American politics is just a mess. Yeah, I think so. And you're smart enough to know reason. Of course, everybody knows this. Talking less in absolute terms, approach topics more rationally. Well, it is rational. Like, I mean, if one person can lead to the arrest of 5 people, it's better to have that one person go free and the 5 people get arrested. Like, assuming that their crimes are equal. It's really just logical. Like, I don't think it's basic math. Yeah, is 5 a bigger number than 1? Like, obviously, yes. Now, and I'd be totally fine with that. It's moral grandstanding. And the problem with moral grandstanding is that it gets people killed. That's the reason, is it gets people killed and it causes more harm. A lot of people want to do the thing that makes them feel good rather than the thing that actually is good. And so, yeah. Unnecessary hypothetical, though. It's an unnecessary hypothetical. I don't think it's a hypothetical at all. Like, if we're talking about the person that was very close to Jeffrey Epstein that could potentially have information on some of these other high-profile bad actors, I don't think this is a hypothetical. I think it's very reasonable to assume this. These are things that happen all the time inside of cases. It happens constantly. Yeah, this isn't hypothetical. It's realistic. They're getting their base riled up. All they have to do is mention Trump did something sometime. Yeah, basically. What if she was moved to scare other participants out of hiding, thinking that she was rattling in them? Oh, I don't know if it is or not. They're opening so hard that he did nothing, and people are going, yeah, but he knew about it. Okay, so by that logic, should we deport the illegals, but not the people that know that they're illegal too, right? Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that obviously whenever you're close personal friends with somebody, it's a little bit different. So somebody found, let me see if I can pull this up here. So the House Oversight, so this is the post that they made themselves. And let's look and see whether this is actually real or whether it's actually just bullshit. So let's see right here. Okay, breaking. Oversight Democrats have received new emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that raise serious questions about Donald Trump and the knowledge of Epstein's horrific crimes. And so let me just zoom in right here. So I want you to realize that the dog doesn't bark. Victim has spent hours at my house with him. He's never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Victim Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never remembered ever. Of course he knew about the girls. He asked Gillislane to stop. I think Trump is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship. I think you should let him hang himself. What is this? This is some other thing, right? And so... Wait. So they released something that was already unredacted, and then they re-redacted it again, and they're trying to think that it's new. There's no way. Are you seriously? Oh my God. It's a clown show? Yeah, there's no way. Like, not quite, I could explain. Political theater. What the fuck is this? Any comment on why you redacted the name of the person who has publicly stated that she witnessed no wrongdoing? Looks to me like you removed Jeffrey from Mar-a-Lago, told Maxwell to stop speaking of girls. I don't know exactly. I agree with the releasing of the files. Why did Democrats cover up the name when the estate didn't redact it in the redacted documents provided to the committee? It's because the victim, Virginia Guffey, publicly said that she never witnessed any wrongdoing by President Trump. The Democrats are trying to spread a fake narrative to slander President Trump. If you are intentionally redacting a name that was previously unredacted publicly, you're doing that because you're trying to mislead people. You are. You're doing it because you're trying to mislead people and you're trying to fucking confuse them. That's it. That's what you're doing. The AOC linked this up. I hope Trump sues them as well. Well, I don't think this is really suing them, right? After all this, no way Trump is not involved in any way. But, like, there isn't anything new about this. That's the problem. That's the entire issue. So, yes, obviously, I agree with you about that, but this isn't even new. This is old info. So, like, do you guys... I think people aren't really understanding what happened here, okay? According to Democrats, the names were redacted by the Epstein estate. Well, either way, there is a public version of this document that's not redacted. And it has been public since 2011. Or I guess not since 2011, but it was unredacted. It came from 2011. So why would you redact something from a person who said Trump didn't do anything wrong whenever it was previously unredacted? I'm sorry. Think about this for 3 seconds, and you're going to come to the conclusion that they did it in order to create a false narrative. They did. I cannot this is bad faith behavior. It's very obviously bad faith behavior. The victim might be afraid. She's dead. She's dead. Virginia Guffey is dead. She said that she didn't have any problems with Trump and Trump was fine. She went on record and said that. So the reason why they redacted her name is because if they didn't redact her name, it would have shown, obviously, that this is the person that had already cleared Trump of wrongdoing. Why is she dead? I don't know. Yeah, now she's dead. Weird, huh? Yeah, but how is she dying? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe somebody killed her. You're right. Maybe somebody killed her. She killed herself? Yeah, sure. Why are you battling for Trump so much? I thought you only cared for the truth. I'm going to pull you up. You're getting pulled up. Do you think that it is bad faith for them to have censored the name? You're getting pulled up. Go ahead. Explain it. Grok claims it's not the same set of emails. It sure seems like it is. I mean, if I look at this image, and then I look at this image, these look like the same email. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I mean, I'm literally looking at it, right? I mean, like, I don't know what, I mean, yeah, it's right there in front of me. Where did this person go? Yes, I agree with that part for sure, man. But I also think there's something rotten with Trump being friendly with all these people who are truly rotten corrupt. Okay, so let me get this straight. You agree with my assessment that this is a dishonest interpretation. You agree that they are lying, but you just want me to come to your conclusion without any evidence. Is that right? So you're just mad at me because I'm not drawing a conclusion based off of evidence. Like, so why would you believe somebody who's obviously trying to mislead you? They're obviously trying to mislead you. They're obviously trying to make you think something that's not really what happened. It's the same timestamp on both emails? Yeah, because it's the same thing. If you follow the case, you know, I'm so tired of bandwagon of this case. Yeah, I mean, is this Trump derangement syndrome? So they don't have to like Democrats, they just hate Trump? Well, I have no idea. Did you not say not trust in data, trust in what you see? Yeah, absolutely. And here's what I see. I see the Democrats that release this big bombshell on Epstein that is in fact a previously released email that is, I think, tactically and intentionally redacted in order to make people draw a conclusion that is inaccurate, that's being done at the exact same time that they are looking bad for the government shutdown ending. And now they're trying to weaponize and mislead people by using the redacted name of a victim who killed herself, who also said, killed herself, by the way, who also said that Trump did nothing wrong. Why did they redact the name? The reason why they redacted the name is because redacting the name would lead people to believe that it's somebody else. Because if they didn't redact the name, people would say, why are you using this email as an example? This woman already said Trump didn't do anything wrong. The reason why they redacted it is so people couldn't say that. That's the reason why. It's that simple. Because that is what follows their best interest. That's it. Or they redacted the name because they want to mislead people. They want to lie. So I don't know. Thank you for putting quotes around that. She specifically said she wasn't suicidal to publish her book if she died because powerful people want to quiet. Yeah, but like that doesn't automatically mean Trump is the one that killed her. I mean, I would say Trump probably isn't the one that killed her, right? I mean, if she could, I'm not mad. I'm genuinely curious about your point of view. You're 100% right that they're trying to mislead us. I'm pretty neutral either way, but I'm just saying something doesn't sit right with Trump having so much circumstantial evidence being near all this. I agree with you. I want all of the files to be released too, but circumstantial evidence does not mean guilt. This is a serious accusation. And also, there's a lot of other circumstantial evidence around people like Bill Clinton, people like Bill Gates. It's not like it's just Donald Trump or Prince Andrew. It's not about who it is. It's about, is this true or accurate or not? And in my opinion, when somebody is trying to lie to you, it's because they know that the truth isn't enough. That's what I think. They want to take advantage of you. I appreciate how transparent you are and always try to have their own narratives. Yeah. Why is Trump not releasing all of it? I think that is a great question. That is an incredible, amazing, great question. And I think people should be asking that all the time. I shouldn't label somebody guilty without relevant. Yeah, sure. Right? I mean, for sure, Democrats are using this politically, but they're misleading and dirty. It doesn't mean the other party is clean as whistle. I think that they're all involved. I think they're all involved. I think that every party is involved in this. I think the reason why it didn't get released under Biden is because it would implicate Democrats. I think the reason why it didn't get released under Trump is because it would implicate Republicans and also friends and donors and other powerful people that they don't want to compromise. I think that's what happened. That's what's going on. And so anyway, it really, whenever you take a step back now and you think about, where is it, Dean saying that this is 100 times bigger than Watergate. Oh, man. Oh, boy. It doesn't sound too good anymore, does it, huh, guys?